So some people really do get caught up in what used to be comparing, I guess, good versus I'm not as good. Now it's, look at what I went through. Oh yeah, look what I went through. Like,
right.
Where's my sympathy? And then they just want to kind of sit there and let the sympathy like take them like a tidal wave.
I always think it's funny when they're like, Brother Brown is my dad, call me Kevin. And you're like, you're 40, dude. Like, what do you...
When I do pray, it's just a very genuine thing. Because you don't talk to Heavenly Father like he's your coworker. Like it's, what's up, man? It's,
hey, Dad, how we doing?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Kai, welcome.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was very abrupt.
No, you're good.
Seriously, like the last episode we did when you just jumped right in, because we cut our intro, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying some new things.
It was very shocking for me. I was like, oh, is this actually starting now? Like, I wasn't ready.
I know. See, we're just trying to be more chill. I have a hard time with that.
I was going to say.
In all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
So it's funny too. Like I had a couple of podcasts like in high school just because like.
Oh, fun.
But I don't like the super like, I guess, organized ones. Like I like them more relaxed.
Yeah.
Like it's a conversation.
Yes.
That you just can't happen. Like when I listen to them, like there's another one that's called like The Basement Yard. They're kind of going viral on TikTok right now, but I've been listening to them for like forever, but it doesn't feel like a podcast where it's like, in this next segment, we're going to be doing this and this.
Right.
It's just like you happen to just be having a conversation. There's a microphone in front of you.
Yeah.
So like, that's why I like just the chill atmosphere. But
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. If for those like that don't know, we have been basically chatting for the past 10-15 minutes.
I know.
So that's why she's like, oh, so that was very abrupt because it feels like we've been doing a podcast already. But
I know. We just got to keep the vibes
it's awesome
going.
to be here for sure.
We're so excited to have you.
Likewise.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So some of you may know me. I'm Nodiak, or as I was just going over with Mimi, Kai or Caden is my first name. So it's Kaidon, and then
Which is so cool. I love that spelling.
It's just a unique spelling. My parents really liked it, and they wanted to call me something for short. So I never go by Caden. Like people are like, "You're not a Caden." Like if that makes sense, like that you're not a like you're just Kai. I was like, I know.
Yeah.
But like the only people that ever call me Caden are like substitute teachers, because like it says on the roll, or like a cop. Like, all right, Caden, just make sure you.
So how often are you running into cops? Like,
no.
Sounds like it's pretty common for you. Like, what's going on?
No, just like speeding or you know.
So this is actually why we wanted to bring you on today. It was an intervention.
Really?
Your mom reached out. She said you've gotten too many run-ins with the cops, and we're here.
So now I'm just putting my full name on blast and everything too. That was well played. Well played. No, but yeah, I've been making TikToks since about 2018. Right after it changed from Musical.ly.
Okay.
So I never owned Musical.ly, but like that was like my junior high days, elementary, I think, like late elementary.
Sorry, 2018.
Yeah, is when I downloaded TikTok.
And you were in elementary school?
No.
Oh.
No.
I was like, that is the year we got married, Kai.
No. I'm 21. So,
okay.
No. That's when I downloaded TikTok because like Musical.ly was like 2015.
Right.
So that was like junior high.
Yeah.
I was like almost like basically a freshman at that time.
Okay.
So I never really touched Musical.ly, but like then I saw TikTok, and then you'd see like compilations on like Instagram meme pages or like YouTube. People started to do like funny duets.
Yeah.
And it was like they would go away from like all just lip syncing, and then it would just become almost funny. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like,
it was a big moment for TikTok when it wasn't just music, and like, oh, like what if we had fun?
Yeah, but like it was so new compared to like Instagram, Twitter, anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I downloaded it, as everyone says, as a joke, and then now you became addicted. So that's just kind of what happened. I started making stuff like that, and then I didn't see a whole lot of like LDS stuff, but there was a few. I know you guys just had Tatai on. Shout out Tatai, great episode. So I saw he was making stuff around 2019 and things, and there were a couple other people, like this guy named Nephi. He was making stuff.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, yeah. So Nephi was like one of the first few people too, at least that I had seen. I don't know. It just wasn't a very big niche. But then I just started posting just whatever, and then I would make like an LDS joke here and there because I'm like, oh, this sound would be applicable here, whatever.
Yeah.
And then around late 2019, I saw that there was there was like that hype house thing, which is all those like teenagers from LA. They lived in that house or whatever. Then a bunch of other people started making spin-offs of that, whether they lived in the house or not. So then I saw that there was one called the Latter-day Saint Estate. And I was like, that's cool. That's a cool name. So I like saw they were like, hey, we're, accepting new people. It was a group of like 5 of them.
Uh-huh.
It's like, hey, we want to add more people to this. Make a video telling us about yourself and tag us. And then Nephi had said, like, I had gotten kind of close with him. So he's like, hey, there's this kid I know, Kai, whatever. Like, I think he'd get along with us pretty well. And so they added me. All of a sudden, I see him added to some group chat. I'm like, oh, hey, like, what's going on? I guess I got in. Yeah, he's like,
go.
I think he had snapped. He's like, check Instagram. I was like, okay. And I was like, oh, sweet, cool. So we had been posting for a few months, and it's just like, just a place where you could go to just watch more LDS creators, because at the time, again, that wasn't a super big niche. Now, like, Pro LDS and all this stuff is, like, going around. But, and so then it was just kind of, like, the way to see your friends. Like, like, to this day, some of my greatest friendships ever, even if they're not from, like, that original group, like, I still keep in touch with a lot of them, and I'm still best friends with a few of them. Like, most of my best friends now are because of just LDS TikTok in general.
Aww.
And so, like, we started to kind of hit some traction because people were like, it's so weird. Like, I never see people that are openly LDS on the app.
Yeah.
So it was so cool to see, like, other people then start posting about it, even if they weren't in any sort of group and whatever. But now, like, it's just fun to watch how many people are still going, how strong, like, the LDS side of TikTok is, whether it's, like, good or I guess bad drama, because I guess some people happen to be pretty famous that also are LDS, and so
the difference between like someone who's an influencer that just happens to be LDS versus someone who's like posting pro LDS content,
like super actively doing it, like that's kind of how I got started. Was just TikTok was fun, and then all of a sudden I saw more people kind of like me, and then now I've just made some of like the greatest friendships ever, and just because of that. And it's cool to just watch that people just are not ashamed to post whatever just because they're just being themselves. Like, whether if you're being super outspoken or if you're just keeping it low key, but you're not ashamed of it, it's just not something you're going to put out to the world 25/8,
Totally. No, it's like, I remember during COVID, that's when I first like saw all the pro LDS, like the start of that community. And I was like, I've never seen anything like this. And like, and I was on Saints Unscripted for years, and like Instagram is more where I do stuff. But like, it just on TikTok, it was different. Like, I don't know.
It
just
was
like the
different.
community was insane. And I think it was because it was so many younger kids. Like, you were like young then, and it's like a bunch of teenagers.
I was just
like,
right before I turned 18 was when I really joined that thing. So
so it was so
17,
cool to see. Like all these little babies.
Basically,
I was like, oh my gosh,
I still look 17. So it's funny how it feels like time has stood still. But
well, what are you up to? So you said you're 21.
Yeah.
Like, what are you up to now? Where's life taking you?
Honestly, I'm just working and just trying to go through life. I'm like, I haven't served a mission yet, but like, it's not completely out of the question. I'm just, right now, I was like, I guess like back in high school and stuff, I didn't have the greatest work ethic maybe, or I didn't get a job until like my senior year. I wasn't the greatest like academically. So I've just been trying to like pursue work and things like that. So it's like, I do retail stuff for like the Utah Jazz and things like that.
So cool.
It is cool, but I just try to, I don't know, just form good friendships and things, and just figure it out. Like, that's the thing everyone says when you're in your 20s, like early 20s, is you're just going to have to figure it out. And that's just kind of what we're doing. But yeah, as far as that kind of stuff goes, nothing crazy interesting, but
no, I think that is so interesting. And I feel like there's so much pressure put on like that age group.
Yeah, they're like, you're not going to school. What are you doing with your life? You're wasting your whole life right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what do you mean you're not married already?
Right.
You're 20. Like sorry.
Literally. So it's so refreshing for me to hear that, like, just hearing you talk about that. And I think like you have time, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool that you're in that place, because 5 years from now, you're going to look back and be like, wow, like, look at how far I've come and everything.
Exactly.
And I think every season of life has a reason. So anyway, I think that's really cool.
Totally.
And we're glad to talk to you. Yeah, of course. Okay. Here's another fun question we have for you.
Okay.
We want to know, what is your ideal food to break your fast with? You've been fasting for like 12 hours. Like, what is the first thing you're going to eat?
12 hours.
Oh, how long is it supposed to? Oh, yeah,
Wow.
24. Am I exposing myself?
After those 3 hours of fasting, I mean,
Oh, when
you're
you
starving.
like just get out of sacrament and you go home and grab a snack real quick, like that 1 hour. No, it's man, I usually something like I've noticed it's always just something really quick.
Oh, okay.
Like let's say if it's like, because like my family, like my dad and I, big football people. My uncles and cousins, we're all huge football. So Saturdays and Sundays, it's college football. Then Sundays, football. Like I have 9:00 church. So right after that, I go home. I'm just watching football the rest of the day. Like I know you want to keep like they got rid of the second hour or third hour, I guess. Cheap plug for, spiritual stuff at home. But I'm like, realistically, I'm going home. Like it's 11:00 now. Like I have my whole day ahead of me. So I guess just something easy. Like I could pop in the microwave.
Yeah.
But sometimes too, like if you go to like a grandparents or a relatives for dinner, like sometimes I will wait for things like that too. But I guess like the ideal food is just like something easy, like a snack or like just like reheatable leftover kind of thing.
Something just that's there.
Yes, it's always like what does my hand go to first? All right, cool.
Yeah,
we made it.
No, I respect
Got
it.
home from church, you're eating some Pop-Tarts, break your fast,
Pretty
and
much.
you're happy.
I was so surprised. I asked our audience the same thing, and I was so surprised how many of them said like dessert or like.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's wild. I couldn't even imagine.
Because for him, he's like, you can't eat stuff like on an empty stomach, like dessert on an empty stomach, or he'll get sick.
Well, I mean, if you're breaking your fast, I'm like, you haven't eaten anything, like, I want a substantial meal, I'm like, I need my meat and potatoes.
See,
I need something big.
I'm trying to be like you, but I'm also like, just make it quick, make it just chop. I also am not like the greatest cook. I wish I was, but I don't have that in me. So I'm just
You
like,
got to master the art of the slow cooker then.
True.
0 effort. You throw it in before you go to church, and
I could see
it's ready to be grabbed on the way out of church. You're ready to go.
I am in a crock pot household, so stuff like that is applicable. But I will say sometimes now I'll dabble, instead of microwave, it's an air fryer.
Okay.
So I guess
you're getting
like,
fancy now.
I know.
The air fried Hot Pocket.
If I'm really feeling
getting
it,
real bushy.
if I'm trying to spoil myself, I'll air fry something like that.
Oh my gosh, you're growing up.
Exactly.
That's like the first
I said
time.
I'm 21.
Yeah.
I think I'm fitting that mold pretty nice.
There you go.
No, I'm with you. Something quick. I'll like eat something as I'm making lunch.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, big
like
time.
you have to have something.
But I'm also
like,
in a family of 9 too, so it really is just like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Whoa.
Well, soon to be 10.
Dang.
As of filming this, my stepmom could very well be having, not right this second, but like by the time this comes
She could
out,
be delivering a baby.
no.
Now.
Let's hope not. But by the time this comes out, my newest baby brother half brother will be born.
Oh my
Dang.
gosh, congratulations.
Yeah. So while I don't fit the like stereotype of, married at 21 and already like in school and doing this, like I'm staying busy, but I'm in a giant family.
There you go.
So
I need to hear everything about that.
That's wild with the 20-year age gap there.
yeah. So like my stepmom is 18, 19 years older than me, and I'll be 21 years older than my brother.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So where do you fit in the lineup?
Oldest.
You're the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
That's good. If you're like, I'm like number 5.
Yeah, no.
And my little brother's going to be 20 years younger than me. I'm like, dang.
No, it's like they started dating, I guess, like 2015. And so it was me and my 2 younger brothers, my younger sister, and then she had an oldest boy and 2 youngest daughters.
Okay.
So it was like party of 5, party of 4 type thing. And then we started all getting to know each other. They lived with their grandma for some time, but like we spent all this time together, but they weren't married. We'd still gotten all this time to like know each other and things. And then they got married in 2019.
Okay.
So then it became like official. We all moved in and things like that. But yeah, so that whole time though, for nearly a decade, I've been hearing, no, people joke like, who's going to have another? Like the family's already big enough. And like the next is my brother. He's about 3 years younger than me, 3.5.
Okay.
And then right after that, it's almost a year. So it's like 21, 18, 17.
Wow.
So there's already like a couple year gap there. And then it's kind of similar, like a 2-year kind of thing.
Okay.
And then now all of a sudden, like my youngest sister right now just turned 10 in the summer.
Dang.
And so then now there's a baby brother, and it's like, whoa. So
Yo, that'd be hard.
it really,
to go from like having your youngest kid be 10 to suddenly having to deal with diapers and all that again.
Yeah, so
I don't know if
it's-
I could do that.
yeah, shout out to my
Same.
parents, because that's how they felt. It wasn't exactly like coordinated, we'll say.
Okay.
So it did catch us all off guard, but we all are like so family oriented.
Oh.
Especially like, not to get super heavy, but like divorce is a hard thing. And like being the oldest sibling, like I've seen some things that like I guess my siblings may not have seen, or they realize way later.
Right.
So family really is massive, and that's why I'm, I guess, grateful for the gospel, because like, you know, there have been some storms in life where you kind of aren't, as a kid I wasn't super active, but it's just because like just kind of like a cloudy time, right? And then all of a sudden, like after the split, we all clung to each other and we started going to church more, and we made like, I had this old ward that I used to go to, and like I was a super late bloomer to a lot of things, so I didn't go to things like EFY or now FSY. I didn't go to Trek, partially because I had a broken leg at the time. They still tried to get me to go to that though.
They're like, you can ride in the handcar. It'd be great.
I
It'd be
was
such a learning experience for everyone. They're going to serve you by pulling you around.
I'm like, then what would I be? Just sitting? Like,
you can learn so much about the disabled people that had to be pulled.
I was gonna say,
The
like,
humility you will develop by being stuck,
you
just
can be
sitting in a
stuck
cart
in the
swiping.
hot sun and you can't itch your leg. It's gonna be so worth it. No, so while I do kind of wish, like, I guess I had gotten to experience some things like that, I also have learned, I guess, spiritually. This is not the question you asked, but just I go at my own pace in a way, and that's kind of how just my family's all done some stuff. Like, we just kind of, it's just a relationship with God. Like, I still go to church. Like, I'm a primary teacher even, so it's like I have a lot of motivation to go, but like I'm still in a home ward where I'm one of the few 20 somethings. I don't have a kid. I still sit with my family and everything, and I love it. But it's like, when I didn't have that calling, it was definitely weird. Like, it was hard to relate to some people. And so now that I have like this primary teacher thing, and I am used to being around like a bunch of kids and things like that, like, it's fun. I imagine it's interesting for them too to have like a teacher that's like 10 years older than them. Like, I teach senior primary, like right before they go into deacons and young women's and things like that.
Yeah.
So
So
pretty close then.
yeah,
I mean, I guess that's just like you're teaching your little sister, huh?
basically it's very similar to that. So but to circle all the way back, being in such a big family, and like when my dad was like a single dad, it really was just like, heat up food, like microwavables and quick snacks and ramen and things like that. So it's always just been a fend for yourself thing. But my mom will usually
I forgot
cook.
that's what got us on this tangent. I was like, oh,
See,
we were talking about food.
That's
That's
what I
right.
was like, okay, let's see if I can, because that's what I was trying to say is like, I have such a big family, and I was like, I should probably give more context on that.
Yeah.
So, but yes, to circle all the way back, like my stepmom will usually like cook us a nice like dinner, like in the evening, but sometimes she can't because she's pregnant, and there also are like so many of us too. So like on a fast Sunday, like sometimes there's like a concert I have to work on a Sunday, so it's like I go to church and then I have to go to work. Like, as we're filming this, it's a Saturday. I have to go work a concert tomorrow.
Oh my god.
Not that it is a fast Sunday tomorrow, I guess,
Is
huh?
it? Oh, it is.
I forgot it's November now.
Oh my gosh, me too.
So I guess we'll find out tomorrow what I choose to eat and how I break my fast.
There you go. You'll be thinking a lot more about it.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'll be counting merch going, come on. What's the free meal for employees tonight? But no, it's usually just something pretty quick and easy.
Okay. No, well, thanks for talking. Like, I actually love the way that went, and like hearing more about your family, because I feel like so often, like, I come from a household of divorce, and I feel like so often people assume members just like have these perfect families, which we all know doesn't exist. And so just like hearing a little bit more about your family is really cool. And thanks for opening up. Like, and I have so much respect for you, because I'm also an older sister. I have one younger sister.
Okay.
But like going through divorce, like with younger sibling or siblings, it's like you feel a responsibility to protect them and just kind of hold, like have a good front on. So anyway, so much respect for you. Like, it
Well,
was
thank
cool
you.
learning more about your story.
Yeah, it's definitely like, again, I don't want to like make it all heavy, but I don't know who's watching this and maybe they see that and go, oh, wait a second, like, because I know me personally, I'd appreciate that because I also know what not to say and things like that. So I have no shame in just kind of admitting that because it's helped shape my testimony, not just like hearing what the prophet says about family and going, okay, families are forever. It's no, going through a hard time and then realizing like, oh, sometimes these guys are all I have. Or like if you lose a loved one, like I personally haven't like lost a parent like as far as death goes, but like my dad's lost both of his. My biological mom has lost one of hers. Like she lost her dad. So I don't have like the same relationship with death maybe, but like still loss and grief can come in so many different directions that storms and things like that really do make you cling on to the people you do have. So that's why I'm so grateful for family. Like, yeah, it's a joke that people say like, oh, Mormons just have big families, but I'm like, I am grateful for it. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's insane sometimes, but sometimes like they might be the only people you have, like depending on what you're going through in life. So
Totally.
I'm super grateful for mine. And if they're watching, I also have a huge extended family.
Oh, really?
So there's a good chance they'll be seeing this too. And like, it is funny too that like any real conversation, I happen to just ramble, but I'll catch myself. So I am able to somehow circle it back. But
There you go.
yeah, no, I realize I'm doing it again. So I'll just go way off. And some people hate that when they're like, you tell a story and see, I'm doing it again. But you tell a story and it's like, and then my friend so-and-so, they're from da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, that's not what I asked you. So I always try to at least bring it back.
There you go.
So just
Yeah.
for like
You don't just end up somewhere weird.
no, I realize I'm
leave
like,
it.
okay, how does this apply to the actual question? But anyway,
No, that's great. And I was wondering, as you were talking about like, you know, just your family and everything, have you had any experiences at church, like coming from your family background, that haven't been the best? Because I'm wondering like just what you could tell people watching, like, okay, if there's a youth in your ward who like their parents are going through a divorce, like here's what to say, here's what not to say
to someone from a divorced family, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
it's your fault. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's an easy one to know not to say.
Exactly.
Hopefully no one needed to hear that, but yeah, don't say you're the reason
Definitely
your parents split
don't
up.
say that.
The way that just triggered me.
See, I'm like also going through like people are so obsessed with like trauma and things. Oh, trauma. I'm like, I just call it material. So like
There you go.
you just learn to like laugh at it. But to answer your question, like if I happen to maybe I guess know someone in my ward or someone in just I know someone that is going through something similar to that, I would just give them that advice of hold on to patterns. Like with me, any negative thing that I saw going through divorce, like my family wouldn't just sometimes we just wouldn't go to church. Like my mom fell away from it just because of like substances and things, and I'm not trying to like put it on blast, but it's a real thing. So sometimes people will also say like, you know, oh, why don't you drink? Like, especially when I just turned 21, like just back in May, it's like, oh, what are you going to do? Are you going to drink? Or like, have you ever thought about it? And it's like, no, but I don't really put all that out there. But I also know watching things of like, I recognize patterns and what substances can do to people, how it can affect families and things. So if someone that was going through something similar and maybe they were not able to participate in some things like I was, or maybe had less motivation to, and they started to kind of get lost in that comparison with other youth in their ward, or I guess just even people their age or anyone really, I would make sure to emphasize to them that it's not like their so-and-so's plan is not your plan. God has that unique plan. I like to imagine it almost like a map he can see like on a table, right? Like he can see like you right now, and he can also see you down the line, and that's not the same as someone else. Like we all have the same end goal. We're taught to follow the same commandments and things, but realistically it is a different speed.
Yeah.
And it's nice to surround yourself with people that do kind of chase after these aspirations and do have like like when I was going through like my teenage years, I had these friends that were super like active and religious, and it was nice to kind of pick that back up, because in like elementary school I maybe didn't have those same friends, or if I had any at all, like I really did just have my siblings at some points.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have these other friends that would set that example. And if I ever did get lost in that comparison, I just tried to remember, like, I'm not them. Like, I'm me, but it doesn't mean, like, ignore your circle. Like, let your circle be a good motivator, but don't get lost in that comparison. And definitely just hold to what you know. Because when you are going through tough times and things like that, you sit there wondering why. I'm sure you, like, you know the same thing. Like, I joke, like, oh, it's, like, you're not your fault, but, like, realistically, sometimes we don't know everything behind the scenes. And like sometimes we see a lot of dark things, people that have gone through divorce, but there's also a lot of stuff like I still don't know. And so as a kid too, when it's like when you're young seeing this kind of thing, you are just trying to grasp at any straw, like why? Like get married for forever. What, like that's not how it's going here. Like what does that mean? So you start to really grasp onto, okay, well, what do I have? What, like my dad used to say this a lot because I struggled a lot with, like, I still do, but big time in high school, anxiety, like just panic disorder, general anxiety disorder, like, so whether it's like severe panic attacks or just general, like just bouncing around and just your thoughts are racing, even though you're stable, your brain just can't sit still or things like that. Like I had to leave class over and over. I would miss school and things. And again, I didn't have an older sibling to kind of follow that example from. So I was just learning on the fly too. So that's why I'm so thankful for my dad being like, I'm super close with him. I'm close to all my family really, but like sometimes like that oldest to parent relationship, it can be a super tight thing because like they're that only influence you have sometimes.
Yeah.
So my dad used to always say like, control what you can control. I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, that's not helping. I'm just a kid. I still am, I'm still sitting in this room short of breath and my brain's going 100 miles an hour. What does that mean? And then now 6-7 years later, I'm like, okay, got it. So
I love that.
I would really, yeah. So whether it's myself like years ago or someone that is maybe watching this and going through a similar thing, it like, I guess just don't get lost in that comparison. And I don't want to say don't compare because that feels too entry level because we do compare.
Right.
Whether it's good things, bad things, like you're living your best life and you're still comparing, whether it's gospel, sports, anything, we compare.
Yeah.
So just try not to get lost in that. Like try to, let yourself feel that emotion and things, but also like cling to what you do know because it like, that's one thing I learned from the Book of Mormon too. When I would kind of like I said, I never really read it as a kid. Like I just kind of learned from Sunday school and things. So when I would actually read, my dad always emphasized like that pride cycle or that pattern. Every civilization, every group or whatever, it was like they're going through good things. Oh no, bad thing happened. And whether it's a different story or even like in the Bible, it's like different trial, but same sort of thing where it's they held to their faith.
Yeah.
Whatever capacity that was, or I have to like teach this to my students. Like there are going to be hard times. You don't have to sugarcoat it. And I don't know what those hard times are going to be. Like my life is different than yours. So just avoiding getting lost in that comparison. Even if you're not in the midst of that trial, like if you look back at it, like, oh, I never had that as a kid. Even if you're fine now, like I never had that. Like, people try to, almost play that victim card too much. And in reality, it's just like be in the present and really just cling to what is like what has held firm for you.
Yeah.
Because God will continue that. And then like if you're blowing in the wind, you can grab onto a stable tree. Then like let's say that storm dies and you can progress to the next whatever. You can build a better foundation and things. So whatever foundation you do have, whatever knowledge you do have, faith or whatever, just cling to that. Because sometimes it is hard to grow and you like just grow when you can, right? So I guess that would be my best advice. I tried not to go way off track again, but yeah, just just cling to what you do know and let God kind of show you these patterns and kind of build off of the last one.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. And I feel like you have such a good perspective, and like you being so young, I'm like, you're so insightful. Like
Well, thank
you
you.
have so much good ahead of you. I can already see. And it's so cool, like hearing that you're teaching primary. And, you know, when I was going through trials, like with my family, I used
Right.
to always think like, why is this happening to me? Like what good is going to come from this?
Mm-hmm.
But now, like having served in young women's for a couple of years, I'm like, wow, there have been certain things that I'm like, I'm able to use that past experience to now
Totally.
help in calling. So, and you just never know like how it
Like
will
even like
happen.
in your marriage too, like you like I don't know what like both of your backgrounds like are completely, but I'm sure like obviously whatever, like a puzzle, obviously like whatever things you lack in, he can help complete and
Oh,
vice
yeah.
versa. And that really is like such a cool thing that this past trauma doesn't have to be a get out of jail free card. Like, oh, sorry, I went through this trauma. Like that actually is a
Yeah.
big gripe I see, especially on TikTok or things like Twitter or whatever. It's everyone comparing trauma.
Yeah.
Like people talk about how social media is comparing like, oh, so-and-so has a good body and you're comparing it to that. Now it's like so-and-so has a bad body and you're like, mine's worse. Like feel bad for me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No,
Well,
that
and then
is
they
so
use it as an
true.
excuse, right? And that's like well, that's why I can't do anything with my life. And someone tries to help you and encourage you, and you're like, well, no, I can't change because of my
Exactly.
trauma. I'm stuck where I am because this happened in the past
You
10 years ago.
box yourself in.
I can't move
and
on.
It frankly is sad to see, and I'm not trying to sound like some Gary V life coach where it's
That's exactly. No,
yeah,
I'm kidding.
you're so young, you have all this time. No, it's NFTs and whatever, but it is sad to see that because it's like, yeah, everyone has trauma, but as soon as like, and I don't like to invalidate people's trauma, like
Right.
it is a real thing.
Yeah.
And what might affect them, like I said earlier, like I'm not them. People have different mental or physical like pain tolerances. So like some stuff that I've maybe gone through, people are like, yeah, just buck up and get over it. And sometimes like that is the thing you have to do, but it's also like you can't sometimes just get over it, but you have to at least push forward,
Yeah.
right? Like, so some people really do get caught up in what used to be comparing, I guess, good versus I'm not as good. Now it's look at what I went through. Oh yeah, look what I went through. Like,
Right.
where's my sympathy? And then they just want to kind of sit there and let the sympathy like take them like a tidal wave. And it's just, no, like get on the surfboard, like go crazy,
Yeah.
like don't just wait for the validation. Cause like sometimes I don't talk about it, but when it actually applies to something like a topic like this, like I'm okay to talk about it. I don't have to be shy about it.
Totally.
But I'm not going to make my TikTok like Nodiac, aka child of divorced parents. Like,
Right.
because that's just unnecessary, and it just seems like I'm just craving validation. When
Right.
in reality, I'm not child of divorce. I'm Kai. Like
Yeah.
I'm just me. That's just something that happened. You are not your trauma. You are not your thoughts. You are not your X or Y. Like you're just you. We all come with good and bad.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's like the whole point of the gospel, right? Is
Seriously.
literally, we know we're going to have difficult times in life. And then we don't just stop there.
Yeah.
that's not the plan. It's like, all right, you're going to come to earth, you're going to have sucky experiences, and that's going to be the end of your life, and that's as far as you're going to get. It's like, no, actually, you're going to be able to overcome those. Crazy thing. God's going to help you, and you're going to move past it, and you're going to grow because of it. And so, yeah, everyone's got different hardships. Some are way worse than others. You know, it just happens, honestly. Some people's life is a lot harder than
And
other
it
people's.
takes a lot longer
But-
to heal. Like,
But yeah, I mean, you learn from that, you get something out of it, and then you're able to move forward. And it doesn't need to be fair, but
No.
you take what you can from it. God teaches you, and you realize, hey, you know what? I did develop strengths because of this. He gave me the help I needed. I can move past it, you know?
Yeah.
it really is just like an eternal perspective. Like I guess you could joke and like apply what President Nelson said, like think celestial,
I
think
was
celestial,
just
think
about to
celestial,
say,
think
yeah.
celestial. But that is a real thing. Like it was promised. Like we are gonna go through that.
Yep.
Even like Jesus went through it. Like that's another thing too.
try,
is it's
try compare to that, all right? You want to
seriously.
win a trauma battle? Like, here comes Jesus, all right?
he's like, yeah, all right.
Just drops the mic and walks away. He's like, try and top that trauma.
Seriously. But in a way too, like I guess I'm gonna contradict myself, but it is almost like a not compare, but it's like a relatability thing. Like Even Jesus went through it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then why? Why did he, like, it's not like God was just like, all right, yeah, go do some good things and, you know, multiply loaves of bread and feed people and, you know, like, he didn't come here for the followers.
Go have some fun.
Yeah, you know, go kick it, whatever. It's
Make it big on Old Testament TikTok.
This wasn't a surprise. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, he had 12 followers, freaking light work. But it's, I don't know if that was like sacrilegious. I really hope not.
I think he had a little more than 12 at certain points, you know?
Exactly. But, yeah, it is like a relatability thing. Like, just why? Like, this wasn't surprise. Like, Christ wasn't praying in Gethsemane and all of a sudden, by the way, I hate to break this to you now. Like, this is really bad timing, but you have got a busy morning tomorrow where these guys are going to, like, it's going to be painful, but it's going to be for a good cause. Like, hear me out, but it's not going to be fun. Like, this isn't a surprise, and it wasn't a surprise to us, like, when we came through the veil. And so it's like, we do forget, like, why? Because it sucks. Like, that's one thing I always learned too, is like, embrace the suck. Like, you don't have to run from it. Like I've always been taught to, like, feel my emotions. Yeah. But don't let them hinder your progress in a way.
Don't
like, if you're
gonna
gonna
control you.
Yeah, if you're gonna feel it. Cool. Now let's go. Right? Yeah. Like, let's get it out. Let's feel it. Let it pass. Like, I always equate things to like a storm. I've said it like 1,000 times today, but it really is like a rainstorm. Like, that umbrella you have isn't going to stop it from raining, or you might even get a little wet. Your feet are going to get a little wet. And if it's your whole body, you forget an umbrella, okay. That the rain does at least pass for a little, right? Right. Dry up a little bit. So that way you can be ready for the next one. Yeah. You know? So
here's another story for you. Well, analogy that that reminded me. I have a friend, Chelsea, who talks about this all the time. She's a life coach. And I don't know if these are the correct animals, but there's cows and ox, right?
Buffalo, I think.
Oh, buffalo. That's right. Okay. So I don't even know if this is actually true. Maybe there's like a vet or someone watching that can say. But
a cool life story that's made up.
Well, it's a cool
whatever you're gonna say is I'll believe it. Like,
I know.
I'm not some animal guy. Like, I'll believe it.
Kai's here for me. So there's two groups of animals, cows and buffalo. When they see the storm coming, the cows, so the clouds are coming like this, the cows start going the opposite direction. They're like, we don't want to get wet. We don't want to get stormed on. They start going the other way. Yeah. The buffalo, they see the storm coming and they start walking toward it. They say, if we walk toward, I don't know if they talk, but they say, if we walk towards this storm right now, we're going to get rained on, but if we're walking that direction, it's going to pass by us quicker. Yeah. Those cows, they're going to get stuck in it for longer because they're trying to avoid it. So I just like thinking about it that way. Of like, we know that storms are inevitable. Yeah. And we actually are told that we have them for a reason and we can grow and all of this good can come from it. So like, let's just go. Like, walk towards the storm.
Let's all find storms in our life. Let's dive into them. Let's make it all awful.
No, but like
go on your... broke once in your life. Get into debt, you know? Like, let the storm pass. You'll get it back. Like...
No, put on your raincoat, get your boots on, like, let's just go. Let's go get it.
Don't sit there
don't
kicking
run
and screaming
away.
the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, partner with God and go through the storm rather than trying to run away the whole time and everything.
Because also, too, what I learned, like, because when you're running away from that storm, like, yeah, your body's dry. Yeah. Your brain's not. You're stuck in that storm.
Oh, so true.
For that entire time you're running, you're stuck in that storm. Yeah. And it's just going to, like rip the Band-Aid off. You're going to think about ripping the Band-Aid off. Or another thing, I keep relating it to, like, what my dad always taught me. But he had another analogy, like, eat that frog.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Do you know eat that frog?
Oh, yeah. Heck
so, for those of you that don't know, if you were told you had to eat a frog under every like, no matter what, tomorrow you had to eat a frog. Like... It's just because people will always be like, I just wouldn't. Yes, you will.
You have to.
You have to. Just go with it, please. Yes. You will. When would you do it? And everyone's like, I would wait till the end of the day. And I'm like, so you just sit there all day thinking about that frog. Every meal you have during that day, you're like, frog's not taste like this. Like, and my dad taught that with me. Like, in that same kind of timeline, he's like, just eat that frog. I'm like, I don't want to eat a frog. He's like, too bad. She's like, when would be the best time to do it? I was like, later. He's like, so you just sit there? I'm like, and just think about it and think about it and think about it. I'm like, I guess not. He's like, just get it done in the morning and it's gone. And
First thing.
obviously trials aren't that easy to just get over with,
Right.
but sometimes like if you can't control when it passes, you can control how you react to it in that moment. And so that's what that ended up meaning by control what you can control. And it is a vague statement because it's one of those things that you can remix and mold into your own circumstance. Like, how does it affect you? So that is also a bit, but I like the like that other version of the rain analogy. That is cool because
the buffalo.
it kind of like makes sense. Like, like yeah, both of them are gonna get wet, but it's like a few miles that way. It's actually pretty dry, I think. So we could, go through that. So
Yeah.
that's a great one for sure.
It just reminds me of in the scriptures, we see it time and time again, where instead of praying for trials to go away, we pray for the strength to get through them. We're never not going to have trials. It's just a part of life. So instead of trying to avoid them, like pray for the things, the gifts you'll need, work on
Absolutely.
strengthening yourself, and you'll do it. So anyway, this
Totally.
has been great.
This
By the
is-
way, if you're Kai's dad, if you're watching,
Shout out
I
Chad.
would love to have you on the podcast. You sound so great. Like he sounds so smart. Like all
We
the things
are-
he's teaching you.
We're very similar people too. Like
I love that.
I've always been told I look like him, and
Oh,
similar height and things. So I'm basically just a carbon copy, like of my mom and my dad. Like some people are like you see them with their parents and are nothing alike.
Yeah.
Like, if you met my mom and my dad, it's like, oh yeah, that's same person.
Oh my god.
So it really is trippy. So,
Oh.
but yeah, I'll probably have sent this to him when it comes out.
Yeah,
So
come back on and bring your dad. And we'll
Totally.
do an episode.
Cool.
That'd be so fun.
yeah, we'll call it FHE. But
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Okay, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Because you said you're in a family ward, you teach primary. Here's something. How do you refer to members in the ward that are older than you? Like, do you call them brother or sister, whatever, or do you call them by their first name? Because now you're an adult,
yeah,
but there's still like, is there a respect thing? Like, what do you usually do?
I just brother, sister, last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if it's obviously like bishop, last name.
Okay.
But, like,
Do you have your primary kids call you brother?
No,
Or they just say your name?
in fact, they give me nicknames.
They call you Nodiac. They're like,
No, oh my god,
Slay Nodiac!
Oh. No, thank heavens no. It's so it's funny too. I've been doing it for about 2 years, and I had a student. She just I don't even remember how it started, but it's still stuck. Every time she sees me in the hall, it's Kajay.
Kajay?
I don't know why, but it was like Ka.J or something like that, and it just kind of like I think it was like maybe she was like because she would write like she would like make little paper like origami whatever and give it to me or like little gifts here and there, and I was like she was the sweetest, but she was pretty sassy, so like. She wasn't going to call me Brother Elkins. No way. No way was she going to call me that. So I think like she had written like Kai, but it looked like it was like
The I got messed
Ka.J
up.
something. Like, again, it's been so long, so I forgot the origin. But it stuck so well where it was just Kajay. Kajay. Hey, Kajay. Hey, Kajay. Hey, Kajay. Hey, Kajay. So then like the whole class started calling me that. And then now like she's in like young women's. All the other boys are deacons. But now my sister calls me Kajay. And now they're like... And when so I've been teaching this current class for almost a year now, and it's the same age group, but they'd be like, what should we call you? Like, do you have any nicknames? And I was like, because we were trying to like joking around, like, should we give each other nicknames, make it fun? And they're like, what nicknames do you have? I was like, well, it's funny you ask, like so-and-so in the ward called me Kajay, and now they call me Kajay. So to answer your question, no, I'm not Brother Elkins. I'm Kai, because like I'm young, so people just still think I'm like, just that's like young adults still.
Yeah.
Or
And
teenager.
did you grow up in that ward too?
Not this one. I've been here
Okay.
for 4.5 years though.
Okay.
So it's been some time.
Yeah.
But a year and a half, almost 2 years of that was COVID. But like I also just, naturally like you don't connect the same way with some people as you do with others. So this other ward I was in, before I moved in with like the whole blended family and stuff, I was really close with like every age in there. Now it's like I'm still close with them and they're all great, but you just don't connect with some people like the same way or whatever. And maybe it is because like I am an adult now. I'm a little more, I guess, independent in that way. Or,
Yeah.
like, before I was a teenager, and you're getting brought to all these activities, and you naturally just make friends with everyone. But it's So I just do the brother, like brother
Yeah.
sister type thing.
No, that makes sense.
Like even like it's funny, like I always call him my companion, but like my like co-teacher, he calls me Kai,
yeah.
but I'll call him brother last name.
Oh, is he older than you?
Yeah.
Like, is he like a dad?
Yeah,
Like,
he's
okay.
his son's in the class and everything. So
Okay.
he's still like he's like a younger dad, but his son's 10. I think he has like maybe another older boy too.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably a few years younger than my dad. Like I don't know his exact age, but like just out of habit, I've always called everyone like brother, sister.
Okay.
But he calls me Kai.
Right.
So sometimes like now I'll just get out of the habit. I'll just call him by his first name and things like that. So, yeah, I'm more casual with it, but
Yeah. You're just like right in that age where I always felt uncomfortable, like not knowing what to call people. Like if I should say brother, sister, or if I should call them by their first name. Because some people are like, call me by my first name. And some people are.
I think it
don't
also
know.
depends on the setting too.
Yeah.
I always think it's funny when they're like, Brother Brown is my dad. Call me Kevin. And you're like, you're 40, dude. Like, what do you... I get it if you want to go by your first name, but like, what do you... that's my dad.
Oh, that was my father.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also you. Like,
Yeah.
still applies, but
Right. But everyone calls you Kai, you're saying.
yes,
Okay.
basically.
Which is so interesting because I feel like when you're just like in your 20s, they just call you by your first name. Like I thought this was interesting. So in our last ward, I was the young women's president and the ward council with like the Relief Society president and, you know, Elders Quorum president, everyone was in there. Everyone calls each other brother and sister, so-and-so, except me. Like they'd be like, okay,
Really?
Brother Brown, like do this for the activity. Mimi, get the young women. And I'd be like, okay.
I have kind of noticed that.
I
Like,
was like, I'm a grown up. Like you can call me Sister Bascom. You can call me President Bascom.
yeah, thank you very much. Like,
Madam President.
Yeah.
exactly. Or it's like you got knighted. Like, actually, it's sir. Or it's like people
There
with like
you
a
go.
PhD. They put PhD in like everything.
Oh, yeah,
Actually,
it's
call me doctor.
Yeah.
We're in the supermarket. Like we're, we're both in sweatpants right now. Like,
I go by Brother Doctor at church.
yeah, brother doctor. Yeah, you were. It's like you're a missionary. It's got PhD, like, and then your last name on it. But
Oh my
no,
gosh,
it's
that's funny.
because like I mean, it's also weird too because I'm like technically like I was ordained an elder,
Yeah.
but it's like it's also weird how it's like, but I'm brother so and so, but like missionaries call each other elder so and so because it's like obviously I understand why, but it is funny too. It's like technically I am an elder,
Yeah.
but like not missionary, but like that is a funny thing how that
They say every member a missionary, right? So,
true,
hey.
but it's also like it is funny how that just goes away, like elder so and so, like, or it's like now it's just reserved for like quorum 12 or like
Right.
the 70 and things like that. It's like
Yeah.
elder so and so, but then like I try to be careful and not say like, you know, elder Eyring. It's like President Eyring, like,
Right.
so it's like, or even like Elder Nelson. Like you got to be really particular about that stuff. I
Yeah.
don't really call President Nelson Elder Nelson,
Yeah.
but it is weird.
That
how
one
all these-
sounds wrong now. 'Cause
It
he's
really
been
sounds
prophet for
like-
so long.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or yeah, President Uchtdorf or Elder
Oh,
Uchtdorf.
I always get that because he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how it's funny how it changes. Obviously,
Right.
president is different than just brother sister. But
Yeah.
like, so I've actually really also never paid attention to this, like what I get called.
Yeah.
So it really opened like a Pandora's box because like
Wow.
like I said, I could just go on tangents.
See, what's interesting too is actually related is like the Elders Quorum president. I guess technically you're supposed to call him president, whatever.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people don't. I mean, I forget all
Right.
the time, you know?
Mhm.
And in state presidencies, they're all president.
Yeah, all three, all the
Like
Yeah.
even the
counselors.
counselor.
Yeah. So I think if you're like introducing them,
Mm.
like we're gonna have a speaker for like a talk from Elder so and so or like brother so and so. But if you're just in conversation with them after church or even in between, you know, like in the hallway, like I think it's just a first name thing.
Yeah.
But like I never really am Brother Elkins like in like singing time.
Uh-huh.
But like they'll draw a stick. It's like which one of the teachers is gonna be part of the activity? Oh, it's Kai. I'm just like okay. Like then everyone else, it's like brother so and so.
Right.
So I'm like, man, I feel like I'm just one of the kids
you,
now. Like,
you are.
I mean, you
am.
are actually. That's
No.
what they're trying to tell you.
I mean, I passed for one, so
No, you know, in our ward
They're
right
passing
now.
out the snacks and like, do you need goldfish, Kai?
I just give them a look. They just know.
No, in our
You skip
ward,
me?
it's so funny. Our bishop doesn't go by bishop.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember because I'm in Young Women's right now as an advisor, and they were like all talking. They're like, oh yeah, Josh is bringing the snacks or whatever. And I'm like, Josh, like, is that one of the kids? And it's like the bishop comes with the snacks. I'm like, oh, Josh. I didn't even know that was his name. Yeah. All the youth call him Josh. I still call him Bishop because I feel weird.
Same. But like Bishop's his first name.
Right?
He's Bishop.
Like, that is Bishop. But I actually feel like he does a really good job with the youth. Like, they all have a really good relationship.
That's
like,
awesome.
They're like, yo, Josh, what's up? Like, let's go chat after church. Like,
Jimmy!
Yeah.
J-boy! Yeah, that is funny, though.
Yeah. It is funny.
But it's interesting. It's a balance, right? Of like respecting a title versus like trying to show you're close or familiar with people, you know?
Yeah.
Which I guess even with God, like that's kind of a thing too, right? Of like respecting a title, respect that relationship versus like we want to show we're close, you know? It's like with prayer, some people still use the whole thee, thy, thou stuff, and other people are like, I want to feel close to God. I say you. And it's interesting just kind of the difference of like they're both trying to do good things and show either respect or show closeness, but you know, you can kind of get a little war there between like, no, you need to be more respectful. Or like, oh no, I want to show that I'm like tight. I want to show that we actually like know each other. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it is kind of funny you bring that up too. Cause like with my prayers, like I have friends that like aren't even like, some aren't even religious like at all. Cause it's so like, but they'll be asking me, like I had this one friend, she's in the military right now, but she was like not religious at all. She grew up in like a polygamous like cult thing. Like it was like part of like some Netflix show. Like in,
oh my god,
she was on Sister Wives, and
she was a little too young for that. But they was like
she was a kid in the family.
Couple more years, they were just gonna like pair her up, and it was like insane. Like
oh my god,
she would tell me all this stuff, and we would go to the same like boxing gym together. And so it was like she's a couple years younger than me, but she would like just tell me like her life story a bunch, and I'm like that's what people think we are. Like it was crazy. I think it was called like The Order or something like that.
Stop! Why is that so scary? No, I don't know what that is.
I was gonna because I think they had like some show on one of the many streaming services. It was like, you know, just Davis County. It was terrifying.
Stop.
So she like went away from religion and stuff, but she knew I was very religious, and so she's also like, not that I'm like. I'm real about it. Like my bio on TikTok, for example, is just unashamed Jesus fan. Not that I'm constantly like 24/7 talking about the gospel, because people think it's like, oh, shoving religion down your throat. Mormons are just trying to convert everybody. But it's also like, if people don't want to talk about it, I don't care. Like but I'm not gonna like hide it. But I also understand too. It's like not everything like has to be involved in that. But I'm unashamed of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just very natural about it. It's just part of my life. And so she would kind of like just get naturally curious because like she was a wild child. So she got involved in a lot of different things, or like other people, like I have another friend from the same gym. He'll ask me the same things like, why do you do X and Y? Like, and so that naturally comes. But like I was trying to teach her how to pray because she wanted to get back into religion. Because like her experience with religion was like not religion, like it was cult, like full-fledged cult.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's terrifying just to hear about it. It was awful. But so then I would try to like teach her how to pray. She's like, Kai, I don't get it, like how do you do that? So I would just honestly, like, I didn't want to get into the whole thee, thy, thou, whatever. Like I said, essentially what you're doing is you're just addressing God because he is your heavenly Father. It's not like you're walking into some like kingdom where the doors are 800 feet tall and he's all the way down there and you have to like kneel at his throne where he's way up. It's like, it is out of respect. Like you want to respect Heavenly Father, but at the same time, like take that literal. He's your Heavenly Father. He's your like dad. Like he made you.
Yeah. Like
he knows how many hairs are on your head type thing. Like, so I would try to tell that to her, and I'm like, just address what you're concerned about, what you want, what you whatever, but just address it and bring it up to him. But don't treat it like a vending machine where it's like you ask, boop, okay, I do this, here's basically you're paying, and then it comes out and you get it.
Yeah.
Prayer isn't like that.
Right.
So there are a lot of different ways to pray, but at the same time, like the Lord knows us. So like when I pray personally, like I don't do the whole kneeling by my bedside thing. Like, sorry, trigger warning. I don't know if people are going to hate me for that. Like, but I'm very direct, and sometimes it is just a therapy session. Like, I'll be laying there, like, in my bed just looking up. or I'll be driving. I pray a lot driving to and from work.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Especially because I do work a lot of nights. So that's like the perfect time to think about my day is that drive home. Especially because it's a somewhat long drive. Like I work in Salt Lake. So it's a legit commute. So I gotta like that quiet time is like a nice time. Sometimes you do just get caught up in stuff like, you know, we all get caught up in just distractions and things. Like I don't like have a prayer rock right beside my bed or an alarm every single time. But when I do pray, it's just a very genuine thing. So I that is interesting how you brought that up, like the different styles, because it is like, again, I think it's just where your heart is at. Because you don't talk to Heavenly Father like he's your coworker. Like it's, what's up, man? It's,
hey, Dad, how we doing?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Real quick. But there are times where I am like just rambling or venting or things where it isn't, even if I'm speaking loud or quiet, I'm treating it as if I'm speaking directly to him. But I also know how to address certain subjects where it's, I want this and I really want this. So I am like, I'll just like address it and just say like, this is what I'm worried about and things. Yeah. So I had to like, I've told some friends like that have been interested in praying, like, especially this friend, like, don't overthink it because he is there. Like he's already listening. Oh yeah. You've already gotten that far. Like he wants to hear from you. And if you can just address it and just try to like pay attention to what you feel, whether if it's in the moment, if it's a still small voice, if it's a song you heard the next day, if it's a message from a friend a week from now, if that answers it, whatever. If you just make it known that you are also aware God is there, that's awesome. Because it's like, that's got to be heartbreaking for him, for his kid to like that one-way mirror type thing where it's like the kid can't see, but you're looking like, I'm right here. Like, so he's probably like trying so hard. And so I just try to like, for people that don't quite understand, it's just as long as he knows that you like, where, like that, you know where you're going with it. So that's what I just, at least when I pray personally, like it's just I know you're there and I'm just addressing you as such. So.
Oh my gosh. That's such a great visual too. I've never thought about that with like the one-sided mirror.
I'm not going to lie. That literally like popped in my head as I was talking.
Stop. That gave
so
me
I
chills.
Didn't, because I'm like, I really was like equating it to like the veil and things, but I was like, oh, it kind of feels like a one-way mirror. So like I had never thought of it like that before until just now. So
stop. The way the Spirit is just like here. I love that. What we respect and like love about you so much is just like how unashamed, like you said, like you talked a little bit about this, like you're just so unashamed in sharing what you believe, right? And that you are a disciple of Jesus Christ, and that's amazing, and that terrifies some people. Yeah. I think like it's definitely a spiritual gift you have, and so I want to get your take on like people who want to be more like that. But I feel like a really big fear a lot of people have today when it comes to like being bold and sharing what we believe is we don't want to offend anybody. And we don't want to feel like we're pushing anything down people's throats just because.
Or feel weird.
Feel weird just because like, to say it bluntly, like a lot of doctrine and things our church teaches are very, very unpopular in the world right now. And like by saying like, let's say for example, like gay marriage and say we believe marriage should be between a man and woman, a lot of people that can hurt people. And so and sometimes rightly like so
the way sometimes it can be framed, I can totally understand why.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So how do we manage this? Like being good to people and being respectful of people, not offending people, but also not being afraid to like share what we believe and be bold in it.
Right. So the way like, I guess just to be unashamed is to just also like sometimes stay in your lane. Like someone, like if I come across someone that is atheist, gay, Catholic, Buddhist, someone else that believes different, but they don't make assumptions about me, even if they don't agree with it, whether they want to learn, whether they don't want to learn, whatever, if they can just go, oh, nice, then it's just, okay, then that makes it easy for you to just go, oh, nice. Yeah. Like gay friends, gay family, gay whatever, it's just, okay. Like it don't make it a bigger deal than it needs to be. Right. Like obviously if like someone were to come out to me and they were making it like a big trust thing, I'd be like, thank you for trusting me. Like that can be a hard thing. But I would also think of it the same way if it's, I'm not trying to compare like coming out as LDS to the same thing, but like every like creed or group of people does have a stigma because that's just kind of how human brains are. So it's, if someone, like if I, like online, especially like back in the Latter-day Saint estate days, I would try so hard to like debunk and argue and do this and that, like even on my main account, whether it was on the account or not, but like I wouldn't cite the Book of Mormon with all these verses, this and that, because they would Bible bash you, and I would just go, okay. Like I would kind of argue, but like almost in like a sarcastic, like humorous way.
Yeah.
Because then if you're a third party watching that, you're scrolling, and they're sitting there like, ah, and you're just like, okay. Like, or you come back with like a snarky like remark, and then you like reply with like TikTok added the reply with a video to a comment thing, and that's something I see a lot of LDS TikTok doing. I think like, because obviously that feature gets used, but LDS TikTok loves that feature, and I can speak from experience. But I've leaned away from doing that just because I'm just gonna do me. Like someone that wants to be whatever, or is like identifies as whatever they want, that's fine, because like I believe what I believe, you believe what you believe. You can just coexist and stay in your lane. If someone wants to have a conversation, disagreement or agreement, then there is a way to do that, whether it gets heated or not, as long as you just don't talk, like you don't act like you know some things that you don't know. Like don't make yourself look like a fool by pretending you know some stuff.
Right.
So that also is like, if I don't know enough about a certain subject, like whether it's in the church or I guess like current events and things like that, like I'm not ashamed to say like I don't know. Like it really is just I'm not ashamed to just kind of be me. So hopefully that kind of answers the question. Like it's like over time I developed that, because before I wanted like the LDS TikTok thing to go viral.
Yeah.
Not that I like you joke like get TikTokers on the show. I'm like my coworkers will tease me about that word. Like they'll call me a TikToker, but I'm like, I don't know that word. Like I also am creating a stigma with that word.
Right.
Because I'm like, I don't take it all that serious. I have like a decent, I guess, people that like amount of people that follow me, but I don't think of it like that. I've just been able to like, it's the equivalent of like you make a joke and a lot of people laugh at it. Cool. Like next I'm still whatever.
You're a comedian now. It's your
I guess
whole life.
so.
As soon as you make a good joke.
Netflix special link in bio. But then I get opportunities to come like talk about it and things like this, and I'm just like, okay, whoa. Like this is crazy to be like able to talk about, I guess, my experience with it, because I don't have a big head about it.
Yeah.
Not that I even am in a place to have one. It's like you just are real about something.
Yeah.
But I did at one point when it started to gain a little traction, I was like, this could be whoa. And then it just kind of fizzled out because we all just kept living, and we didn't treat social media like a career, because that was never our intention. We didn't want to be TikTokers. We just wanted to relate to people.
Yeah.
And that's what I still do. Like if I post a video now, like I don't post as often, but if I do post a video, it's just to, get to know me, like LDS or not.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not ashamed to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I have no reason to be. But at the same time, I do understand and acknowledge that there are some controversial figures or examples of things. It's just a matter of just coexisting, but also not being ashamed of what you believe and like twisting God's word. But like even I'm trying to be a little careful now, where I don't want it to come off as like, sorry, like it's because it is.
Right.
People do misunderstand like the why behind a lot of things. But why did it happen? So like, I don't know, like this is kind of just how I think of it. So I like don't act like you know everything, but at the same time, like don't be ashamed of what you do know or what you believe. And then just try to, at least if you do explain it, just make sure like it can come from a place of how could they understand it? Because like we don't understand each other sometimes. So how can we relate things to each other?
Totally.
Educate each other.
And I feel like so often today, sorry, this is the last thing I'll say. Don't worry. Eric's probably watching the vlog like, oh my gosh. But last thing I'll say is like, I feel like so often in the world we hear like, you do you, you do you.
Yeah.
And like, I think that can be toxic to an extent. Because, you know, as Latter-day Saints, we have the responsibility to be disciples of Christ and to spread the gospel, gather Israel. But there's a time and a place to do it. There's a good way to do it and not good ways to do it.
Yeah.
If someone comes up to me and is like, hey, Mimi, will you tell me about what you believe in? Like, perfect.
Totally.
Perfect opportunity. And, you know, people might not come to you, but there's ways that you can share the gospel tactfully. If you think before you speak and think, how is this person going to take this?
Yeah.
Like, no, don't go up to a gay couple you see and say, hey, you guys should not
read
be
the
together.
family proclamation.
Just so you
Read the
know,
family
you're
proclamation.
going to hell.
Yeah,
Just
which,
like to let you
by
know.
the way, we don't even believe that gay people are going to hell. Like, that's like not
That's
even
the funniest
not
part.
even
I'm
our
like, do you know
religion.
how hard it is to get to hell? Do you know how it's hard to get there? Like,
Yes.
so that's also what's so funny to me. I'm like, I don't believe that. Like,
Oh yeah, right. So
but it's like, you don't believe they can be the celestial kingdom. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to get to the celestial kingdom. Like, what am I worried about them? I'm not worried about them.
literally.
So it's like, I'm trying myself. I'm dealing with myself here. I don't care what they do.
No, literally. So it's like, it's just a balance. Like, yes, I know. And like, I know a lot of people who are trying to share the gospel have good intentions, but it's like, just really think about how, and like, you can argue and say people are so sensitive today. Okay, maybe that's true. But like, also Jesus Christ was so empathetic and sensitive to other people being sensitive. I just believe that. And so like, I think, yes, share the gospel, but like, think about how it can affect people.
Right.
And so be bold in sharing, but be sensitive. So
Yeah,
anyway,
not
that's
that-
my soapbox.
Yeah, it's like you can't control someone's reaction, but you can do your best to like frame it properly.
Yeah, be nice.
Yeah.
Like, be good to people.
Even if you have to be direct about things, it's like,
Yeah.
I can't control how someone takes this.
Right.
But I can control how I phrase it. And then from there, it is out of my control.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not just well, you're sensitive. It's, well, how is it more a way you can understand it? Not because like sometimes it is the first time some people have heard this kind of thing.
Right.
So you have to phrase it in a way where it is entry level. And you do want to be respectful because everyone deserves it. Like if I don't want a gay couple coming up to me and be like, you're a bigot.
Right.
I'm like, whoa, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Right? Or other Christians, like, you're going to hell. You're part of a heretic church, whatever. Like, I don't even know what that word means. I just hear it all the time. So I've just gotten so used to hearing that. I'm just like, all right, like, thank you. You know, like, what do I, like, you're going to hell for being Mormon. You follow Joseph Smith. I'm like, not really, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. More of the story, like, you know, one
Yeah.
gay person, you don't know every gay person. You know, one Latter-day Saint, you don't know every Latter-day Saint.
Seriously.
Like, don't make assumptions on people. Just like get to know people, be kind. The end.
just
There you go.
be good, be you.
Yep. Like Kai. Be like Kai. Kai, this
Oh,
has been so
please.
great.
This was fun.
This has been such a pleasure to have you.
Like what? It's
I know you're
pleasure to be here for sure.
No, we appreciate you. And I know you're not like posting a ton right now, but like where can people keep up with you if they want to follow along?
Yeah, so I mean on TikTok it's just Nodiak, Nodiak. Instagram it's just _Nodiak. I'm pretty responsive on things. So if people ever do comment or message me, like I'm pretty responsive. I'm pretty approachable. So like if anyone ever does like want to just say hi, like I'm pretty accessible. So Instagram, TikTok, you can hit me up there. So
Perfect. We'll have his links below. But yeah, thanks again for coming on. And
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for watching.
See ya.
peace.
Bye.